I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, man. I know your cousin Erica. We went to high school together, and I remember she was there for one of your NFA fights, and I remember thinking your last name sounded familiar, but I was like, "There's no way they're related." And then when I saw her in the crowd, I was like, "Oh, damn, it's a small world." So
Yeah.
it's funny how the MMA community it only seems to shrink as I get older. But so that's actually where I want to start the conversation, though, is martial arts, if you don't mind. Before
Mhm.
we get into like the personal nitty gritty, I'm curious how you even found your way into this world. I know that you wrestled in high school, and was that the catalyst?
Kinda. I mean, ever since I was like a kid, I wanted to be involved in, or I should say, I fell in love with martial arts as a kid. Um, Things like Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, just big influences. I was also bullied a lot as a
Really?
kid. Yeah, like a lot. So it was stuff like that. That media outlet, like I said, Mortal Kombat, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, whatever. It was kind of like a safe haven for me. It was like something I found uh, hope in, or optimism, I guess you could say. And I remember when I was like 14 years old, I was scrolling through the channels and I came across this thing called Ultimate Fighter. And I was like, oh, what's this? And just immediately fell in love with it. Just, I was like, dude, that looks awesome. I want to do that someday. I got to figure out how to do it. And yeah, I wrestled for a while. Didn't really lead to much of anything, unfortunately. But
When you say that, do you mean like what, like wrestling in college, or
yeah, I mean, I didn't have like a great high school career. Um,
did you start wrestling in high school?
no, I started in middle school.
Okay.
I was really bad my first year. I think most people are that when they first start. But I
Oh
had a
yeah.
great second year, and then high school was a big learning curve. With like now you're starting to do weight classes, and it's like
Were you also like a lighter weight class or a heavier weight class as a freshman? Like what did you weigh your freshman year?
I wrestled at 170 as a
So you're
freshman.
wrestling nothing but juniors and seniors if you're wrestling varsity.
Probably.
Yeah.
I dipped in varsity a little bit as a freshman and as a sophomore. As a sophomore, they started me on varsity at yeah, at 170, and I lost like every single match.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
rough.
I would go to JV and just crush
Yeah.
everybody. And it's like that's nothing to really brag about. But junior and senior year, I wrestled 95 and 82, which is crazy considering I fight at 155.
No.
But honestly, they didn't really. I went to Windsor, and back then when I was there, I wasn't really taught how to like cut weight properly. So my first real initial experience of weight cutting, like real weight cutting, has been with fighting.
Mm.
And so,
Meaning you didn't cut any weight in high school, or the way you cut weight was just awful.
uh, so yeah, like I tell people, like I wrestled 95 at the beginning of my junior year, and I had to beat my best friend for that spot, which was like really difficult. and then
You're a better man than I.
and then we wrestled off again, and he beat me the second time because we were both kind of
Neck and neck.
yeah, and the weight just kind of started coming down anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep
Okay.
going. And so I went to 82, and then he stayed at 95.
So it wasn't that you were cutting weight at all; it was just naturally coming off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
The reason I say this is I coach wrestling, and I don't tell any of the kids to cut weight. When I was in high school,
Hmm.
we had like the Dan Gable method of like suck it up, skip a meal, don't drink water. I even had my freshman year. We had like this like transitionary coach. He told me to like not take long showers because the water could seep into my pores. And I
Yeah.
believed him.
Yeah.
Fast forward 10 years when I cut weight for fighting, and I literally cut weight from taking hot showers and hot baths.
Yeah.
So it was just like the information that was being presented to us, it wasn't like it was malicious or anything. People just didn't know. So like when you say that you were or you weren't taught how to cut weight, I was just curious if you were taught like an erroneous way to do it or if you weren't taught at all.
Yeah. I would say it was like the, I guess like the Vision Quest way, where it's just like, I remember the biggest example was like my freshman year. I wrestled off a kid at varsity for 160, and I beat him. And then I weighed in like after practice, and I was like 168. And my coach was like, "All right, well, Friday we got that 2 day tournament. You got to make it by Friday." And I'm like, "Okay." So like I ate one meal a day like all week and barely drank water, barely did anything, and just like suffered wearing layers and doing all that stuff.
Being miserable.
And I remember Friday we had to weigh before we left for the tournament, and I weighed like 61 and a half, and my coach was like, just go back to class. And he didn't take me.
Wow. Because you were a pound and a half over.
Yeah. And then they called
So you're suffering all week and then still didn't get to go to the tournament.
Yeah. And he's just like, just go back to 70. And I was like, okay. So I wrestled the rest of the season weighing like 65, 66 because I didn't really know how to. I'm like, what else do I got to do?
Well, it's also the reason why I don't tell them to cut weight is two-pronged. Number one, I think that's the quickest way to get people to hate the sport of wrestling. I think wrestling's already a tough sport, like mentally grueling, physically demanding. And then when you want to tell like kids, hey, also you have to now have this newfound discipline of skipping meals and stuff. I just don't like the idea of kids cutting weight. Like if you're over 18, like for fighters, by all means, like cut the weight, do all the things. 'Cause by that, yeah, your body's still growing till about 25, but it's not as detrimental. The problem is like you'll see these kids, and I mean they're still going through puberty in real time. So like I've seen kids like shoot up in weight during a season in a 3-month period, and like the kid was making 152 easily, and then by the end of the season they're struggling. Like it's awful for them to make 152. So I just never liked the idea of telling kids to cut weight. And from my own anecdotal evidence, my senior year, when I was like, you know what, I'm not fucking cutting weight anymore. I'm just going to focus on getting better at wrestling. That's when I medaled at state. And I was like, I wish I would have done this like year one. I would have saved myself so much headache, so much misery in the sport of wrestling that I don't have many regrets in my life, to be honest with you. But one of the regrets I do have was making wrestling miserable more than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my senior year where I was just like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my own way. And that's when it was like the epiphanous moment. I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have had someone tell me this. But I don't blame anybody because they didn't know. Like we operated with the knowledge that we had at the time. Now, honestly, because of fighting, like MMA fighting, not boxing or anything, now people are getting crazy good at cutting weight. Now people are talking about cutting 20 pounds in 48 hours and stuff like that. So it's wild.
I mean, I think we're almost getting to that point with me.
To make weight for your fights?
Well, I'm making weight, but like the amount of weight I'm cutting before the weight.
How old are you?
30.
Okay, so you're not growing anymore. So now it's like we're just getting into what? Like it's just getting harder to cut weight.
So I feel like it's actually kind of going in reverse. I feel like I'm finally figuring it out, if that makes sense. Because I started my MMA career at 205.
Holy shit.
Yeah, my amateur debut.
And now you fight at what, 155? God damn, 50-pound delta.
It was funny too. My coach loves this story. My amateur debut was with Nemesis, and they like to do, you know how you like pose and they do the photos and everything at the weigh-ins. And I like went up there with my shirt off and like did the pose and everything, and I saw them sitting at the table just like giggling at me, and I'm like, whoa, what's funny? And they're like, you're a 155er. And I was like, oh, okay.
Who was they were giggling? Your coach? Or?
Yeah, Coach Dave Greenlee and my other coach, Jake Bueller. And they just like, I thought I was like yoked at the time. Just like, just thick, strong boy. But no, I was a thick doughboy is what I was. But yeah, they knew from the get-go. And each fight we kind of like went down lower and lower. But
naturally, like you were just losing weight, through training and lifestyle changes?
Yeah, basically.
It's the best way to lose weight.
Yeah, just started eating better, training more. My first 3 like fights as an amateur, I didn't really have proper camps for them, just with my job and things that were going on. And yeah, I think that's partly why I didn't do so well with my second and third fight. Even if I was in great shape, I still don't think I would have beaten. I fought Clark Stith for my third fight.
Those that don't know, Clark is a fucking animal.
Yeah, I don't think, even if I had a great camp or anything, I don't even know if I probably
you've had a strong strength of schedule as well as an amateur and as a pro, because we were talking about Jason Powell and how do you say his last name?
Owen Shantz.
Owen Shantz. Sorry, Owen. I know Owen, but I have no idea how to say his last name. It's like Tishisansi. So forgive me, Owen Shantz. That's a tough pro debut, and that's a tough follow up to that because Jason was training with me at St. Charles MMA like a decade ago when I was like 21, 22. So I mean, he's been in the fucking game.
Yeah.
I think he's a black belt now, owns his own gym. So I mean, kudos to you. And your strength of schedule at amateur was you didn't fight many slouches. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So before you poo-poo on yourself too much, let me add some context to this.
Yeah, I look at that resume and I'm like, it's like a bittersweet type of thing. I told my coaches what my goals are with this whole thing, and basically it's just like, okay, well, you have to fight tough guys as an amateur. This is the bottom line. I feel like there's a lot of amateurs that are trying to take a pretty easy ride.
Brother, there's a lot of pros.
So, we took the big fights that we could take that were offered, if that makes sense, and obviously we didn't like travel far to do any. I was never really offered any. The only time I ever got offered to fight out of state was a time I was like not in a camp.
Yeah.
It'd be like some dude hit me up and he's like, "You want to fight in tennis?"
Notice.
Yeah, and I'm like,
no.
I'm like having a steak dinner and a beer with my wife at like the lake or something. I'm like, no,
I'm good.
No, dude. But yeah.
I also never liked that mentality of stay ready, you never got to get ready. And I'm like, dude, fuck you.
I'm like,
every sport has an off season. I'm gonna enjoy my time.
Yeah, and I would say I'm a pretty active fighter. I fought 4 times last.
But training for fun and training for a fight are two completely different things.
Oh yes, drastically.
So like you could stay in shape. I'm not saying like don't train. Like I train all year round. But what I'm saying is like, call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. Don't call me on 2 weeks' notice. I'm not your guy. I don't care what anybody says. So.
Yeah, I mean, as we get further as a professional now, I think that's something that I want to try to stay in. If I'm mentally like, I want to keep going. Like after I just fought Jason last month, I had the mindset like, I'm gonna enjoy the holidays for a little bit, like just be with my family, like, spend time with my wife, just this whole thing, working a full-time job and then training as much as I do. Like, I don't get a ton of time with her either, so I want to be able to be fair with that. And I enjoy my time with her more than pretty much anything else. So it's like I want to be able to dive into that and stay in that. And I think it was like a couple days before Christmas last month, some dude hit me up and was like, you want to fight at 145 in Nebraska? And I'm like,
a couple days before Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I was like,
dude, no.
Well, I'm like, I can't make 145.
Did they offer you like an amount of money that would entice you to do it, or was it pretty much par?
No, he didn't even talk about that. He was just like,
"Are you even interested?"
He's like, "Yeah,
dude, you got to tell me what you know what I mean. Like, how much are we talking about?" Because like, listen, I said what I said, but if you're offering like $20,000, I'll suck it up. You know what I mean?
I'll find a way to make 145 pounds. I'm like,
honey, get the cleaver.
Yeah, pretty much. I really don't think I could make 145.
No, I don't think you could either.
I don't think I could.
Have you tried? Do you want to?
We talked about it like a couple years ago.
It's diminishing returns, though, brother.
Yeah, that was kind of how the conversation ended. It was
you
just
can
like,
make it.
Yes.
You're just going to look different. You're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to fatigue faster. You're going to lose a lot with that. Like anybody can make any weight. I mean, it's just calories in, calories out. Yeah. But it's also performing.
Yeah, and as we were kind of talking about how we're figuring out weight cutting and everything, I was always under like certain superstitions or whatever about like what you can and can't eat the closer you get to the fight. And this time around for the last camp, I was like, man, my weight's just like in a good spot. And I was eating things like oatmeal and fruit like the week before the fight week. And usually I was always like, I'm not eating oatmeal like within the last month. And I love oatmeal. I gotta put that out there. But like also like red meat and pork, or not pork, but like just beef and things like that. Again, another thing I'm like, shouldn't be eating this on fight week. And it was like 3 or 4 days out from the fight, like I was eating ground beef and stuff like that. And just the weight just kept dropping. And so I think figuring out that, or understanding that you can eat, but also putting in the work at the same time, like giving the return, just feeding your body. I think, I guess your body will thank you in return for that, if that makes sense. But
food is fuel.
But yeah, that cut for Powell, I think it was like 17 pounds.
When you say 17 pounds, meaning from what, start of camp
No,
or for weigh-ins? Like when you say 17 pounds,
the Thursday night.
and weigh-ins are on Friday,
Yeah,
so 17 pounds and 24. That's a lot, brother.
yeah, but I felt pretty good.
Were you water loaded?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
packed with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that week, like that morning, before the weight cut started, I think I was probably like 68 or something.
How are you
67.
cutting that? Bath, sauna, shower, running?
So I have like no energy to run by that point, but
Yeah.
I water load all day. I eat a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe it's like a chicken breast or a couple eggs or something, and layer up, sweatsuit, all that. I'll get like a cardio warm up or something, whether it's elliptical, hitting pads, hitting the bag, stuff like that. And just once I start feeling the sweat, I just sauna for however long I need to, really. I'll take some breaks. Our sauna at the gym doesn't get super hot. Like, I mean, it gets hot, but it doesn't get like blazing hot.
That might be better though, because I've been in saunas that do, and I've seen fighters pass out.
Yeah.
And I've also seen fighters. One of the things something that you're kind of alluding to and kind of skirting by is that you kind of are learning or have learned your body and what works for you now. Yeah, it took some time, but like you're now at this point where you're like, I know what I can eat. I know when I can't eat. I know what to drink. I know how hot I need to make this or whatever. And that's huge because there's no one, a nutritionist can tell you calories in, calories out, like what you should eat and all that stuff. And a trainer could tell you what you need to do to be like, a peak performance. But at the end of the day, they have to go off of you and how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to be able to articulate that and be like, hey, listen, not today, whatever reasons, X, Y, and Z. I've seen guys like, God bless Evan Elder. He didn't pass out in the sauna, but he was in the sauna for like 40 minutes with Dustin Lampros. And like, he wasn't cutting weight, but he was on the lower level. And then he stood up and like almost went out because heat rises and like, and I don't know if anybody's ever cut weight or like, we always tell people like don't get up too fast, like hunker down, keep the sweat going, don't try to exert yourself. And it sounds like that's what you're doing: cardio before, build the sweat, sauna, and it doesn't get super hot to where you have to be miserable, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it maintains the sweat.
Yeah. And then usually we want to get like a decent amount, at least a majority of it off with that first night. And the next morning I'll wake up, I'll do like super hot shower or hot bath, and then I'll go to the gym, maybe like a different gym, like I went to Exist this time. I took a day pass. I hopped on their Stairmaster for a while and then did a long incline walk, and then I did their sauna.
What are people saying when they see you? Because like here comes this emaciated guy with like all hoodies and stuff like that, just fucking miserable.
Well, so that sauna at Exist was really fucking hot.
Really?
Like I was in there with my layers on, and I was the only guy in there. And then like I was like just pouring sweat. I actually got to the point where I got up and I started like shadow boxing in the
sauna?
In the sauna. It wasn't like speed. It was just like
Motion.
yeah, just moving. And I'm like, stay moving, stay moving, stay moving. And finally, I was like, okay, it's getting a little weird. So I got out and I took all my clothes off and I weighed because I brought my scale there because my scale has been pretty accurate compared to every scale we've weighed in on for fights, and it was like 159, and I'm like, oh my god, man, we're running out of time. And it was just like, so I went back in and just like my briefs, and then there was like some dude in there, and I kept going in and out like every 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. And he's like, oh no, you do your thing, like, and then I had to just like explain to him, I'm like, I have a fight tomorrow. I'm sorry, this is why I keep doing this. I'm like, I can only stand so much, so I got to get in and out. And yeah, I did all that, went back home, got all my shit ready for the weigh-ins, and then went back to Han, and literally I think we did the sauna for about 2 more hours and then made weight just fine. It was tough, but
17 pounds in 24 hours is rough.
yeah,
I think the most I ever cut for a fight was 10.
I would
Within
love,
a 24-hour span.
Yeah, I would love to get to that point. That's the problem we're having, is like getting to like the mid 60s. For some reason, I just like can't.
What do you walk around at? 80, 90?
Typically, like outside of camp, 85 to 90.
So you cut around like 30, 40. That's what I get. So I walked around like around 165, 170, and I would cut to 135.
Yeah.
So we had like the same delta of like pounds. And the first 10 pounds, super easy, just changing the diet, cutting out alcohol, cutting out soda. 10 pounds would just shut off me. You know what I mean? Then the next 10 pounds was easy just because I was getting into the routine of training. But that's when it got difficult. When you're talking about like caloric deficit, when you're talking about it's actually easy when you're water loading, but the caloric deficit just wanes on you.
Yeah.
And then I would argue that the last week is actually easier than the mid like week 8 to week 2 before the fight.
Yeah.
That part is fucking miserable because it's like I'm not really eating as much as I want to. Like I'm eating fine, but like I'm kind of just like always on edge. And then camp is here, so like I'm getting aches and bruises. I'm not recovering as well as I want to because I'm not eating as much as I want to, and so I'm not sleeping as well as I want to.
Yeah.
And then it's like that last week is actually the easiest because the training is done. Now we're just focused on the weight, and it's just like, well, I've been water loaded, so like I didn't cut out water until honestly wouldn't cut out water until about 12 hours out. Like even 24 hours out, I would still do half a gallon. And then that last 10 pounds would be 3 or 4 hot baths. Done. 2 hours.
Yeah. The hot baths are miserable.
For me, I think the sauna is miserable.
Yeah, I'd rather do the sauna.
Really?
Yeah.
The bath it sucks. Like, first of all this sucks. Like, none of it's fun, right? So, that caveat. But, like, for me, it was more like I could lose 2.5 pounds in 20 minutes in a hot bath where I just could not do it in the sauna, and the sauna would get my head hot. So, like, for me, at least my head wasn't submerged. And then, like, I could always just adjust in real time. Like, oh, I'm really hot. So, like, I would do it by the waist. And I'd still be sweating pretty good. And it was the comfort of my own home. I didn't have to go to a public sauna. I didn't have to fucking deal with anybody. I could just be miserable by myself.
The other hard part is like when if you cut 10 pounds the first night and then you go home and try to go to bed.
Oh, dude, you're not sleeping. No. And you're thinking about the fight.
Yeah.
So, like, you're miserable. You have to still make weight. You're thirsty and all these other things. And you're like, what if he does this? And I'm going to do that. And then what if he does that? I'm going to do this.
This last one, I was literally laying in the bed. And I really don't get headaches often, like ever, which is funny because, like, I grew up with headaches like crazy. But I think that was just because I like to say it's just like my diet and lifestyle is why I don't get headaches. But I always get headaches the night I'm cutting weight because it's just like you're just pulling all of this out of you and you're dehydrated. And I couldn't sleep. And I remember just like thinking, like looking over at the clock, and it's like 2 a.m. It's 3 a.m. And it's like, I finally just got up. I took maybe like a cap's full of water and took some ibuprofen and just said, fuck it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. And then immediately I conked out. It's like, okay, now I know I can take some ibuprofen if I need to.
Yeah.
But that's usually the worst part is just trying to sleep because your body is cramped and like you can't get comfortable. And that's the other thing too is like we've done like those like small personal saunas, and then we've also got like the like a small one where you can't really lay. I'm like, man, I feel like if I could just like lay down
that's kind
properly.
The problem with that though is it's kind of dangerous because then you could fall asleep, and that's how people can die.
Yeah. Even though that's like all I can think, I'm like, dude, if I could just like take a nap in here.
Yeah, awesome. That's the problem. Because then you do take a nap, and then you're in there for an hour, and like, all right, well now I've lobstered myself.
Yeah, but I don't know. The sauna sucks, man. It's like literally every cut I've done, I'm just like sitting in there and I'm thinking like, because your mentality changes. You're just like, fuck, dude, like I'm gonna get in there and embarrass myself in front of everybody. This dude's gonna whip my ass when I get in there. I suck. Why am I even doing this? Like it's like all those things. But as soon as you weigh in and then you like get that first drink of water or electrolytes, whatever, you're just like, let's fucking go. Like,
I think it's like, I don't know if it's because you're in an emaciated state or because you're just fucking going through it, right? Mm-hmm. But that question of why am I doing this, I had that before every single fight. Every time I had to make weight. It was never about the fight. It was while I was cutting weight. Because I thought to myself, like, fuck, why am I doing this? This is so stupid. Like, I told myself I would never cut weight again, and here I am, you know what I mean? I think it's also, if I'm going to be honest with you, it is a good part of the process because I think it does put you on edge, and I think it gets you hungry, and I think it gets you angry, and I think it puts you in a state of, like, I don't want to say, like, killer mode, because I don't want to call fighters, like, you know, we're not soldiers or whatever, but it does put you in like a heightened sense of violence. because you've been miserable for like 3-4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why am I miserable? For this one moment. I'm going to make this guy pay for all those days I couldn't go out, for the fucking misery that I had, sleepless nights and all these other things because I was so weak or this or whatever. You're the reason I had to do this. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's that too. And the other things that pop into my head are like, first off, I feel like if you can make it through weight cutting, you can make it through a lot of things.
The fight's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun
The
part.
fight is I've lost fights, I've won fights.
Mm-hmm.
The fight is the fun part.
Yes. Even though I don't think I've ever had I've had one fun fight that I lost that I've actually, I actually found fun, but most of my losses were not quote unquote
Yeah,
fun.
fair.
But yeah, that stuff I think about, I'm like, dude, and like, this dude's just gonna like, I don't know. It makes you hungry. It makes you just more motivated, I think. But in the moment, you're just like, I don't know. And things that I think about, I'm like, it's temporary. I'm like, this time tomorrow, I'm going to be drinking. I'm going to be eating this time. You know.
Do you ever count down the hours?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm like 6 more hours.
Yeah, I'm constantly staring at
5
the clock.
hours and 50 minutes later. You know
Usually the day of the weigh-ins, I actually think that day goes by very fast because you're trying to get the last few pounds off, and you're like, I gotta weigh in by this time. I gotta get these pounds off. I kind of wish we had like the UFC thing where it's like you have
weigh in at 10.
Yeah, weigh in as soon as like the morning kicks. It's like I've actually heard some of those dudes are not cutting till the morning of. Like they wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and they cut.
I think it's different for different people. I also think it's different because a lot of them now are making really good use of like the performance institutes.
Yeah.
I think when you introduce, nutritionists and recovery experts and a top tier training facility, yeah, maybe people don't have to fucking cut, 20 pounds the day before a fight. Go figure. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think just like in all things, it's resource bound. Like if you have the means for, higher acute care, then don't be shocked when you're a better performer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I'm like taking it. I mean, obviously as a professional now, like I take it very seriously. I took it very serious when I was an amateur too, but it was a lot of learning in that. There was 2 fights I didn't make weight for, not intentionally, obviously. Like it wasn't like, oh, we're giving up. We're just gonna see if they take the fight. It was just like we made weight on our scales at the gym. You get to the weigh-ins and then you're over, and it was just like
it never feels good.
No, and then that sits in your head all the way, and for me at least, because I've had my coaches and people are like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you're not getting paid. Relax, just go fight, have fun. And it's like, oh man, like I didn't do my job. My job's to make weight and fight, and I didn't do it, and I feel bad, and it's like that carries with me. So like I don't want that sensation again. And as a professional, like I said, and now that there's pay involved and there's more stakes and things like that, it's like that it's just not an option. Missing weight is just not an option. So that's just like my mentality when I go into these camps and these fights now. It's like everything to me at this point. It's like all I can think about.
We often say it's the fight before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the conversation, you were talking about like your first couple amateur fights where you were sitting there and you were doing the poses and everything. You were discussing how you had a conversation with your goals in this sport with your coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what were the goals when you started? What are your goals today? Have they differentiated? If they have, how? If they haven't, interesting.
Well, I mean, they've kind of changed over time. Initially, I joined an MMA gym because I love MMA. Like I love watching it. I love talking about it. Initially, at one point, I thought about like having like a YouTube channel or like a podcast or something, where I'm like, I can just talk about
the sport.
Yeah, just talk about UFC. But
you
then
do
I'm
both.
like, yeah, and I'm like, well, maybe I should like train and kind of learn a thing or two, and not be, the guy from the outside.
I don't understand why he didn't just see red and won the fight.
Yeah, but it was like I've been watching it for so long. I'm like I was like understanding of it in a way, like I didn't get bored when they went to the ground and shit like that. I wasn't one of those people.
You're an educated fighter, yeah.
Yeah, so I start training and everything, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to do one fight just take it off the bucket list. I'm
Oh,
like,
really? That's how you started?
Yeah, I was just like, I just want to do one fight, just do it, and we did, and I'm like, I got to do it again, and then I had that fight.
Well,
with,
when you said that you wanted to do one fight, you obviously have to pick a gym. You have to do all these other things. So, like, were you training at the time that you decided to do a fight?
Yes.
Or did you decide to do a fight and then you started training?
No, I decided I wanted to do a fight after I started training a little bit.
Got you. So you trained a little bit. You were training a little bit first, and then you're like, I'll try this out.
And I was like, my wrestling experience I think can take me a little, a little ways. And I started with Han just doing like Krav Maga. Like I wasn't even doing like their MMA classes or their fucking jits classes or anything like that. And I remember there was one day I did like the beginners class, and then I went downstairs and did Krav. And I came back upstairs, and Dave Greenlee was like, he was in his gi because I didn't do the gi class, and he's like, "What are you doing downstairs? You don't want to do any like snuggle cuddles?" And I'm like,
"Not when you say it like that."
I'm like, no, I don't know. I didn't really have an answer. He's like, "Do you want to fight?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Then don't do that class no more." And I was like, "Okay."
The Krav Maga one.
Yeah. He's like, it's not, you're not gonna, not taking anything away from anybody that likes Krav Maga, but if you're gonna be a fighter,
what do you think are if you were to tell a guy that wants to get into a gym right now, what is the martial art you tell them to start with?
Yeah, that's wild because people have asked me that multiple times. I honestly think jiu-jitsu might be the most appropriate one. Because if you are in a street fight, you might fall to the ground, you might go to the ground, bar fight, whatever. I think it's nice to know something off your back. I think that's where a lot of people, I think, would get confused because I also think it's the one thing you might get better at first before striking. Striking, in my opinion, is still something I'm struggling with. I feel like it's progressively gotten a lot better. But yeah, with like jits and wrestling are things that I think a little bit easier to understand and figure out just because of like you're grabbing, you're pulling and things like that. Striking is a lot of methodical movements with your body and staying straight on this line and moving your head and all these things. I think it's just a little bit easier to get into like grappling first.
I think people have natural affinities. Like people that are more explosive will probably like striking a little bit more because like their body is more conducive to that. And then people with like different frames, like you were saying about the push pull, they might enjoy the grappling aspect more. I still stand firm on mine. I think wrestling number one, and I think it's a country mile before number two. More than anything, the mentality. Mm-hmm. So like I don't disagree that like jiu-jitsu is, I think if I were to like do a hierarchy, I would say that grappling is more important than striking, without question. Yeah. Because no matter what, if you're just a striker, when that fight gets to the ground, and it will, your martial art is negated. Versus if you're a grappler, then you can always initiate your strength at any moment and get that fight to that point. Now, obviously, with the progress of MMA, it's like everybody's everything. Like everybody's great striker, great grappling. Like I don't even see amateurs anymore with holes in their game. Like back in the day, dude, it was like this guy has zero jiu-jitsu. This guy has zero striking. Like just keep the fight standing and you're gonna fuck him up, or take the fight to the ground and he's useless. Now it's like, you got to have a game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my grappling alone, I feel like, has won me most of my fights.
Your ability to grapple and dictate the pace of the fight. You mean?
Yeah. I don't really consider myself much of a wrestler. I mean, I did wrestle a long time. I think the real wake-up call for that was when I fought Devin Bird. I'm like, maybe I'm not like a wrestler. I mean, that was like kind of like my mindset afterwards. I'm like, I think I'm just becoming a fighter, if that makes sense. Like I'm just trying to figure out everything. And I don't think there's going to be many other people that are going to be able to wrestle me like he did. I think there are people that are better wrestlers than me. But like I train with guys that are way better wrestlers than me. But my jiu-jitsu comes into play, and then that's what keeps me safe with them. But yeah, I definitely... grappling, I would say, is the number one thing I would recommend to most people.
Yeah.
A lot of people that have come to me and they're like, well, I really want to like go somewhere and kickbox, or I want to go somewhere and box. I'm like,
it's fine too.
Yeah. I'm.
But it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is fighting.
Yeah.
You better learn how to fight off your back because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I was just curious. But so you were saying that originally your goals with the sport were when you started, you were thinking because you were attracted to the sport, I'll go in and train to get myself a little bit more educated on the sport. Through the act of training, you were like, you know what? I think I want to take my first fight. But you were saying that like your goals started to shift over the course of time. So can we elaborate on that?
Yeah. So I took another fight, and that was with Owen Shantz.
As an amateur?
As an amateur.
Oh shit! I didn't know you fought him as an amateur.
Yeah, he was my second fight. I've told a few people this before, but like, we took the fight on like 13 days notice, and I was eating McDonald's at the time. My coach was like, "Hey, you want to fight the following weekend?" And I was like,
Hold my beer.
I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And I was like training. I had just started a new job at AT&T at the time. I was training like 2 days a week, barely, and like their hours were so out of whack. I quit my job to take the fight because they would not let me off for it. I couldn't get anybody to cover my shift. Some guy was
That
like...
sounds like a not your problem thing. Don't you have PTO?
Well, I was still pretty new there, and it was actually a union job. So basically it was
Even
like...
more.
Yeah, they were like, you got to find someone to cover your shift, or your shifts, plural. So I could go away and then fight, and then I'm like, I'll come back in on Sunday if I have to, whatever. And
okay, forgive me. Maybe my my white collar is showing here. I don't understand the concept of you have to find someone to cover your shifts. That's not your job. Your job is to work.
that's what they told me.
Isn't middle management's job to figure that out?
I don't know. They were like, she was just like, just ask the staff. Someone needs to cover your
who
shift.
wants to work my shit? How about you do that? Why do I have to do that?
I don't
Am
know.
I crazy?
No, and if you're new in a union, you have to accrue PTO, so it is a responsibility unless you want to lose your job,
Which I wound up doing to take the fight. But
I'm not a big fan of unions.
no, yeah, there was some guy I'm like, I got a fight opportunity, I want to take it. And he was just like, I've been working here for 5 years to finally have weekends off. And I'm not giving up my weekends so you can go fight somebody. And I'm like, all right, well, then you're going to work anyway because I'm quitting. That's like all I said. And I had a buddy who worked who was a manager.
Think about that mentality for a second there. I worked here for 5 years to get weekends off. I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't know.
I'm glad you're out of there.
So am I. Yeah, I was there about a month before
This.
Yeah, and
Was it good up until then?
no, I fucking hated it.
It was just the final straw.
Yeah, AT&T's mindset of like the training, how they teach you to treat people and how to manipulate people. It's
Was
pretty,
it like a sales job? Like you're just
yeah, it was sales.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go down this rabbit
No,
hole
no,
too much.
you're fine. You're fine.
When you're telling me like they're like, well, you got to find someone to cover your shift. I'd be like, how about you
Yeah.
suck my dick? I'm gonna go fight. You figure that out.
Yeah,
that's your job.
That's basically what I did. I was just
Attaboy.
like, this is.
Cheers on that one.
I'm like, I want to do this, man. You know. So I had that fight with Owen. I was not in shape at all for it. I don't remember. Like, I remember what I've seen, if that makes sense. I don't remember some of the fight.
Because you were so exhausted.
Yeah, he dropped me in the first round, and I was so exhausted, and the doctor stopped it going into the third.
Okay.
It was like just a back and forth, like,
Slugfest.
yeah, just slugging it out. I got a couple takedowns, and my lack of jiu-jitsu really showed. I didn't really know where to go in some spots and things like that, but I was able to hold him there and keep him there and things like that. But no, he was beating the shit out of me. But like when it was all said and done and everything, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Really?
I'm like, that sensation was insane. I'm like, that high, that adrenaline rush, it was crazy. So it was like, all I could think about was, when's the next one? When are we going to get to the next one?
You realize you're like, it's not normal to think that way.
Yeah, I don't think I am. No.
I'm not knocking it. I mean, I think all fighters that love fighting, I think they all have that, like what you just said, because I've experienced those moments as well. And actually, as a retired fighter, that's the ones I miss. I don't miss winning fights or anything. I miss the anxiety, all those backstage emotions, like where you feel like you have to shit your pants. You're like, oh my God, you never feel more alive.
Yeah.
So like in a weird way, anyways, sorry, but like
No,
I
you're
guess what
fine.
I'm trying to say is, for you to be thinking that way,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're cut from the cloth that this was made for you. Because there's a lot of guys that I've met throughout fighting that they're great athletes, but like what you just said, I've never heard them say. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
they're great athletes, they're explosive, they're, you know what I mean. But when push comes to shove and they have to get into those deep waters, they cave, they crumble
Yeah.
in real time.
And that's the thing is I don't really think I'm like a natural born athlete. I don't think I have like a lot of natural skills. You know, I see some of these guys that come into Han that are kind of new and coming up that we got, and they're picking up on shit really fast. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, it took me so long to figure these things out. You know, like we had guys come in and then 6 months later they're having a fight and they win, and I'm like, you know, I was there for a while before they're like, we'll let you have a fight, you know. But after that fight, I'm like, man, I want to do this, you know, I want to go far with this, you know. And, you know, then I fought Clark next and got put to sleep. And then I was like, okay, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed
Did you
to
start?
do.
I was going to ask you, like, if you started doubting yourself.
Yeah, I was like, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do, because I dropped to 70, fought Clark, and got submitted, put to sleep. Like, I didn't even know I was on the verge of going to sleep. Like, it was that tight.
Yeah,
And then
that
next
fast.
thing, yeah, and I remember Tim Francis standing over me. He's like, hey, you were out. And I'm like, what?
No, I wasn't.
And I thought Clark knocked me out or something. And then when they're like, by head and arm, like triangle, I'm like, oh, thank God.
At least there wasn't any CTE.
Yeah. So after that, my coaches were like, let's drop another weight class. Let's try it again. You know, they like kept me in it.
Was the mentality when you lost against Owen as an amateur, was the mentality, let's go down to 170 because that's where you should be? Like, I'm trying to understand what is the constitution or what is the conversation you're having for dropping these weight classes? You're saying at 205 your amateur debut and you were called like the doughboy, right?
Yeah.
But so then you go down to 170. Obviously, Clark is a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's a pro now and he's fucking crushing it. But then you're having the conversation of cutting another weight class. I'm curious.
It's because, so when I left AT&T, I started working for FedEx.
Okay.
And I was a package handler, or not a package handler, or just delivery driver. The weight was just like falling off my body
yeah.
because I was
Do
active
they not
all
have
day.
air conditioning on those cars, trucks? What would you call those? Delivery vehicles?
The vans or whatever.
Vans. Yeah. I heard they don't have AC.
I don't think mine did, but I did like working there in the summer.
Really? 'Cause it was like basically like a sauna.
Yeah, and then I kept the doors open and driving down the road and everything. During the winter was absolutely horrible. But yeah, the weight just flew off. And I remember the day before weigh-ins for the Clark fight, they're like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "Oh, let's go weigh." Like I brought like all my shit with me, like to layer up. And I stepped on the scale and I was like 170.5, and they're like,
All right.
"Okay, well just don't eat or drink tonight."
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, so then I weighed in. I didn't like eat or drink. Weighed in at like 69, and then fight day, I was like 171 pounds, and I noticed Clark was significantly bigger. And yeah, when that dude grabbed me, I was like,
Fuck.
I'm like, I am not prepared. Like that was like the thing that popped in my head. I'm like, I'm not prepared at all, and this is the strongest man I've ever felt grab my body. Like this is scary. But you know, I was like, fuck, okay, well maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't what I should be doing. And they're like, stay in it. Let's do one more weight class drop. You can clearly drop another weight class. Let's try. And then when we dropped 55, I pulled off 3 wins in a row. And I was kind of like, okay, well, eventually I want to go pro, but like maybe like try to get to like the PFL or something. Like I thought that's like where my skills could take me. Maybe
Implying this is now where your goals have been changing.
Yeah.
So you went from like just have a fight to get more educated and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
Now near mid/latter half of your amateur career, you're like, okay, I do want to go pro and I do want to see if I can go to one of the bigger promotions.
Yeah.
So your mindset shift.
Yeah. And then we have a couple more fights. We go pro. And when we decided to go pro, it was kind of weird because I ended my AMI career on a loss, which some people don't like that idea. Turns out a lot of amateurs have ended their careers on losses, which
When you say ended the careers, you mean end amateur career
and
to
amateur
move to pro.
Yes, yeah. I lost my last amateur fight by getting knocked out, and I wasn't super happy about it, but we just kind of had that conversation, like, you're almost 30 years old, like, if you want to go pro, it's like I don't think you have anything else to prove at the amateur level. Like,
Well, not just that, your fights will be harder.
yeah,
When you're like at the top of the amateur division, there are no more easy fights because now you're fighting all the guys that are thinking about going pro as well. And I hate to say it this way, let's say you're like you're 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 as an amateur. What are you going to do? You're going to fight other 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 amateurs. Or, sorry guys, this is the truth. You go pro and now you're 0-0. You can fight a 0-1. You can fight a 1-0. You don't have to fight the 9-0 pro killer for your pro debut. And this is the game that we play as fighters. Like, it's not about picking and choosing what we think, like the fights we will win, because I genuinely talk to a lot of fighters. And if there's anything that fighters have in common, it's this like unhealthy optimism on their own skill set. Like they think they're the animal. I'll fucking fight anybody, which is an admirable quality to have, but not if you're trying to like have a long career of success, right? Because it's not that you can't beat everybody, but you need to pick and choose when you fight certain people. So like, I'm not saying don't fight the 9-0 killer, but let's not fight him for your third fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's kind of inch our way up there, and let's have the fights that we need when we need them to get to that level.
yeah.
And it's a lot easier to go pro than it is to just stay amateur because you feel like you're quote unquote not ready.
Yeah. We just felt like we were ready to go. We fought only killers as amateurs. I felt like I was ready to go. I felt like I already trained
Like a pro?
like a pro. I take it very seriously. Like I said, I train anywhere between 5 to 7 days a week, and usually sometimes mostly twice a day, sometimes maybe 3 if I can get it in. But yeah, it's just,
That's a lot, dude.
yeah, it is a lot. And I'm working on the mentality.
How many
of,
hours a day do you train?
If you put the 2 days together, it's,
Like total. Like 24 hours in a day, you spend 8 sleeping. How
4
many?
or 5.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a part-time job, easy.
Yeah. So that's why I said, like, I take the time with my family. Like, I want to take that time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, oh, you got to stay ready. It's like, I know, but, like, give me, like, 3 weeks. Give me 4 weeks to, like, not think about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Well, can I take a caveat to that?
Sure,
Sorry,
sure.
let me take a step back. When I said, like, the stay ready, don't got to get ready, it depends on what we're talking about. Like, if you're an 0-0 pro, like you're about to make your pro debut, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a full camp because now this matters. And you have to take that initiative for yourself. But if you're like 5-0 or 6-1 or whatever, then the mentality shifts to like, you could be called to the UFC. If you have good management, you could be called to PFL. And a lot of times, if you notice, the way people get in is like, short replacement fighters. Like, this guy got sick 2 days before the fight. We need a guy on 48 hours notice. That's how Evan Elder got in there. That's how a lot of guys got in there. And they might go in there and they might not necessarily have like the best or like the designated outcome for their first fight, but it's the foot through the door. So like, I would have done whatever I needed to do if the UFC came calling.
Yeah.
But if like, the Shamrock FC of Minnesota calls me, or if the NFA of Florida calls me, I'm like, no, I got NFA and Shamrock here. Like, I'll fight whenever I want to fight. I don't need to fight for you guys.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
So
yeah,
forgive me. Let me add some context to that. Like, it depends on the opportunity.
Yeah.
If the money is right, if the organization is right, we'll make do. But if it's just like another fight that I could get whenever I want, why would I emphasize this one? Why would I take it on 2 weeks notice?
Yeah.
No, unless, and by the way, the money was never like substantially more to make me go like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
It was like, we'll give you an extra $500. I'm like, well, no, thank you.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, was like, we take the pro debut, and we did a 14-week camp for that. And then for
What the jitters like for that one?
so fighting Owen again was fucking crazy, because it was like, dude, you're gonna get in there again as a pro with a dude who beat your ass the first time, but like, my coaches were like, we had kind of talked about it, like, we wanted that fight again. Like, we thought we could have beat him if we had a better camp the first time, or we were in shape by any means, things like that. So it was like, let's take the fight, we'll do it. And yeah, I was in the back, and I remember the promoter was coming in, and he was just like, all right, guys, like we got 3 hours at the pay-per-view. That's all we have. You know, we may or may not take an intermission and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember just like being in the back, and I'm just like, we're getting closer, and then like I had like phlegm start building up, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, dude, like this is bad. And then he comes in, he goes, we're not taking intermission, we're just gonna go right into the pro fights. And I'm like, oh god. I'm like, oh man. And it just got in there, and I just stared at him, and what really hit me was like, you gotta tell him through these, like, what that first fight did to you and how it's brought you to this moment. So the guy, he brought something out of me that I didn't know existed. So that's there, it's real, and I've finally figured out how to kind of like bring it out when I need to. And you know, the same thing with like Jason. I got in there with Jason, I just stared at him the whole time. It's like, I need you to know that like this is my time, and I'm gonna run through you if I have to. So it's nothing like personal, but like I just want people to know, like, I feel like as a 30-year-old fighter now that's only got 2 fights as a pro, because I get like that upsetting feeling like if I watch UFC. It's part of the reason why I don't watch UFC as much anymore, is like I'll be watching it and I see a dude that's like 21,
yeah,
and he's fucking 15-3, and I'm like,
it's a different game.
Yeah, I know. And it's like the goal now is to like, can we make that walk once? Like that's really all I care about. I don't give a shit about belts. I don't give a shit about any about that. It's like, can I make it to that stage that nobody thought I was going to be able to make it to? The stage that I didn't even think it was possible when I first started. So it's like, it's this journey of destroying my self-doubt, because that's all I want to do. Like I want to be able to, when I have kids, which is something that I do want, we're kind of holding off right now because my wife and I both have things that we do and that we're into. And
how old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
She's 28.
Okay, so I think that man should be older in the relationships, and I think so. That's why. Hey, yeah, sorry.
No, you're
that's
good.
my toxic masculinity show. So what I'm trying to say though is like you guys have time.
Yes, and I just want my kids to know, like, I went for it. I shot my shot. I went for my dreams. I did all of that, and you know, I didn't let the guy at AT&T stop me from pursuing these things. You know?
How many years ago was that?
It was 2021.
So 5 years ago, that means that guy would have been working there for 10 years. I wonder what he gets at 10 years. Does he get like Fridays off too?
Who knows if he's even still there?
I hope not.
But yeah, I mean, it's
see
just,
the light, brother. Get out of there.
Yeah, and I don't know that. I don't know if I'm that caliber, but I think we can find it along the way. I feel like with each fight, I'm showing more and more of my skill set, and I think I'm one of the most resilient guys, you know, at the lightweight division in our region. And I think a lot of people don't have the heart I have, and I truly believe that.
Let me ask you 2 questions, and I'm going to ask this harder one second. But the first one is because you're talking about how you're kind of touching a little bit on legacy as well when you start introducing like the aspects of like my story and like what I want to part with my children and all that. So right now the goal has shifted to making the walk on the big stage. Would you consider it all a failure if you didn't?
No.
Okay.
No. Because at least I know I tried.
Okay.
I don't want, like, I think of that, you ever seen like that meme or that picture where it's like the guy that's like digging with the pickaxe and he stops right before he gets to the gold because it's like it just took too long. But it's like, I don't want that to be in my head for
one swing away.
Yeah. I don't want that to be in my head forever.
So then let me ask the harder question. The harder question is you're emphasizing, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of prolonging this. You want children, you want to start the family, but you're also very cognizant that this is a very selfish lifestyle, right? Being a fighter. And I'm not sure what your wife is doing, but like, let's say she's also in things that require a lot of her attention. So like you're both kind of still, and I'm not trying to say this in a rude way, but like you're still kind of like with these selfish endeavors where it requires a lot of your time and effort, right? And God bless, like pursue that to your heart's content. But there's also this thought of expanding the family, and obviously you're married, so like you've done all the things that you needed to do. I'm sure you live together and have a life together and all this, and you're emphasizing the legacy to the children. So like, if on one hand you're telling me that you're prolonging the start of a family for your career, and on another hand you're telling me like you want to have this legacy for them, it's like, well then you have a number in your head of when you would want to stop fighting.
In a way, I kind of do.
Do you feel like you're, and forgive me for asking this, but like, do you feel like you're putting like a clock on yourself? Like you're not going to fight till a certain thing, you're fighting kind of against time.
I feel like I got a window.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be realistic with myself.
But does that add stress to you?
No.
Okay.
I feel like that's been something I knew for a while. I feel like I started late anyway. You know, I had my first fight at 25, and you know, I feel like I was already starting late.
It's an active career then. In 6 years you've had, or 5 years.
This will be, yeah, I'm getting ready for my 14th
fight. Total. Yeah, that's a lot of fights.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah. It's active. You started at 25, but you've been very active.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know there's a window. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and act like there isn't. I definitely want to fully pursue like jiu-jitsu when I'm done. Like I want to get my black belt eventually someday. I want to keep competing in like jits tournaments and things like that. Potentially coach guys, help guys in MMA related things, whether that be just helping them get through camps with like their diets or just like helping them stay in shape, things like that. I was a personal trainer for a little while a few years ago. So, I mean, I feel like I could revive that in a way with the MMA aspect. But, and I'm not saying that we're like purposely holding off having kids. We're kind of in the mindset where it's like, we have kids, we have them. But she also is a competitive weightlifter. So like,
Holla.
so yeah, I like my muscle mommies. Yeah. So she,
God bless.
She yeah, she's excellent, and she's kind of the same way as me. Like, you know, like she'll be like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Are you ready?" And she'll be like, "I don't know, kinda." And I'm like, "Okay, do you want to get started?" And she'll be like, I don't know. Let's wait a little bit longer. And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah.
So there isn't like this like obsessive need to have like this legacy.
Okay, now.
Yeah. There's no like obsessive need to have like a legacy or to like to tell my kids. I'm just using that example if I were to have kids. I want them to know that anything is possible. And maybe I didn't make it, but I want them to know that I tried and that you can't give up on things. Unfortunately, to get the things you want, it's nothing is easy, unfortunately. I mean, everything that I'm sure that you've gotten, you've worked for. Nothing was handed to you.
No, everything I've ever gotten was handed to me.
I'm
the exception.
A small loan of $1 million.
I wish. Oh, I wish.
But
Sorry.
no, like all the things that you really, really want in life, I feel like you really have to work for. You really have to try for.
I would also add this caveat is like so often when we're in the thick of things, we're always with the destination in mind. And then when the dust settles and you look back, it's actually the hurdles you've overcome that you're the most proud of. Mm-hmm. At least that's what it is for me. Like with all aspects of life, not necessarily sports, but like I'm very proud of this. Like I never thought about it when I was doing it because like you're still in it. So like you haven't conquered it yet. So like you're still just like on that rat wheel, right? But then when you look back, fighting is so difficult because it's so present. You can't think about the next fight because you got this fight. And okay, cool, whatever happened, like let's say you got knocked out the last fight. Well, that was last fight. Let's say you got a knockout last fight. That was last fight. I got this fight now. So like fighting is unique in the sense of like you're kind of like going from like 12 weeks to 12 weeks, like camp to camp, fight to fight. And you lose track at how much you fight. Like I there are fights that I've forgotten. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I did box. Oh yeah, I did do that. Because like they were just like in the groove of things, and you just kind of like to the test of time, they kind of evaporate in your memory, and then you look. That's what I was saying. Like you look back, and you're like, oh my gosh, I did way more than I thought I did in retrospect. And I'm sure you could probably think about, like, that's why I said, like, man, in 5 years, you've had a lot of fights. And you're like, oh, yeah, I do love fighting. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm saying, like, let's say you had another, 10 if you've had 14 fights in 5 years, you had another 2 years of that, you're going to be on the average, you're going to be on the verge of like 21 fights. That's a lot of fucking fights for anybody, including someone who starts at 25.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that like maybe when the dust settles for you one day, you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, I did a lot in a little time.
Yeah. I also just like the fact that, like I said, I was bullied as a kid, and
May I ask why? When you say you were bullied, was it like, were you like a fat kid? Were you like...
Well, as a little kid, I wasn't, I was like kind of chubby. I did get fat. I actually, like after high school, I got almost up to 300 pounds.
In high school?
No, right after high school.
Oh, right after. God damn, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I think depression, it was kind of like, what am I doing?
Were you just like eating to... Because you were sad? Forgive me. I'm not trying to sound rude.
No, it's fine. It's interesting diving into it. I don't really know. Like, so I don't have an education. Like, I didn't like graduate college. I got a scholarship to wrestle at Missouri Baptist, and they were like, you can wrestle whatever weight class you want. And I was one of those people that didn't have anybody be honest with me on like where my weight was, my body composition. Like, I honestly thought I was like way better like looking physically than I was. And I was like, I'll wrestle heavyweight. And they're like, that's fine. You can wrestle heavyweight. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept going to the gym, weightlifting, eating, and I got hurt. And I was not doing very well in school, like at the same time. So it was like, I think it's time that I stop like this wrestling journey, whatever this is. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. I didn't have any real goals with it, you know, and I think that's kind of what cracked. And then when I dropped out, I was just working at the movie theater, and you know, I just had like my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, and thank God she stuck with me. I don't know how she did.
Shout out muscle mommies.
But like, you know, I'd be up till 4 a.m. like playing video games, drinking soda.
Oh no, that vicious cycle of mediocrity.
Yeah, and just like I'd wake up at noon, 1 o'clock every day, go to work, stay up till 4. Just, I think my average meals were pizza rolls or frozen pizza.
May I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like, and the reason I ask this is because I have a couple friends and everything. So I felt like our generation, I consider you in my generation because I know that you're 30 and I'm 33. So like we're not too far off. You would have been a freshman when I was a senior, right? I feel like our generation was the generation that was told if you're not going to college, you're a loser. And I think that had a big psychological impact on a lot of people. And I think it directly correlated to why we have like a student debt crisis. Because you told a generation of kids, and like, by the way, like when you say like your grades are bad and all this other stuff, it's like maybe someone should have sat you down and said like, I don't think college is for you. And like, I by the way, that's not an insult.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing on this planet that I would say is like a universal path for anybody.
No.
For anybody. Blue collar work isn't for everybody. White collar work isn't for everybody. If you ask women, you know, like anybody can be a supermodel. Like, no, come on, let's be realistic. Like, let's strive towards our strengths and not necessarily amplify our weaknesses. So, when you were done with school, was there any part of you that felt like I'm a loser? Like I failed. Like, what am I going to do with my life? The reason I ask that is I have friends who are in a similar boat, and it seems like their education is like a big emphasis. Like how can I say this properly? It's not as if they want to go back to school to get their degree, but the fact that they don't have a degree, I think, weighs on them. Does that make sense? Like it's as if they're less valuable as an individual.
Yeah, I think that weighs on people quite a bit, and I think that weighed on me as well. And at the time, I will say that I am like a huge movie buff. Like just outside of fighting, it's like movies and video games. I'm like all about that shit. So
all right, nerd. I'm your Huckleberry. We'll talk.
I always make jokes with people that like I became a fighter so I could openly be a nerd.
Yeah, dude.
And kick someone's ass.
Most fighters are nerds. Most fighters are anime nerds, video game nerds. By the way, full disclosure, I played WoW for like 15 fucking years. So like, don't get it twisted. You're in good company.
So yeah, one of the things I wanted to do, because like I was trying to follow in the footsteps of like people who also weren't educated. So like I thought of like Quentin Tarantino.
Why do you say that weren't educated?
I guess it's the term I'm using.
Higher education.
Yeah, higher education. Maybe that sounds a little ignorant of me.
I know a lot of people with degrees that are in poverty because they went for something useless.
Yeah.
So they got educated in useless shit.
Yeah. So I decided like, okay, I'll write a movie and I'll try to make a movie and we'll try to make this shit happen. And that was like my dream for a long time. Like I initially, like in high school, I remember telling my counselor, like, I want to be a filmmaker. Like that's what I told him. And I'm like, I'd love to go to like the New York Film Academy. I had all of these ambitions to do these things. And basically my counselor was just straight up like, it's probably not going to happen.
How about no?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay. And I remember.
That's so rude.
I know. Just shit all over my dreams. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself.
Shout out that counselor.
So
killing dreams.
I didn't tell anybody else that I loved fighting as well.
I'm sorry. Dude.
No, you're fine.
Oh man, God bless.
I didn't tell anybody else that I love fighting because everyone thought I was like a pussy anyway. So
boy, were they wrong.
So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll just fuck it. I'll make my own movie, whatever. And then I realized trying to make a movie is fucking miserable
and expensive.
And I was trying to fund it all myself.
Good luck, brother.
I just decided, okay, this isn't for me, so it's time to find the next thing.
I'm sorry.
And no, that's fine. And I don't regret that at all. I'm actually happy that I attempted to do that. And I think it was just another thing that kind of led me towards the excessive weight gain. But then, obviously, time went on and everything, and found personal training, which kind of helped reduce that. And that helped build my confidence.
When you say you found personal training, forgive me. So let's make sure that we do this chronologically for context. So you leave Mobap and you start getting into this vicious cycle of like, just playing video games, staying up late, not necessarily having a whole lot of purpose or direction. Mm-hmm. When you say you found personal training, what does that mean?
I guess you could say I found enjoyment in exercise.
Out of nowhere? Or were you still exercising this whole time?
I was hardly exercising during this time. So I went on a trip with Hannah, and we went
Hannah's your wife?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
It's weird. I hate saying my girlfriend, and now my wife. But we went on a trip to Florida, and I saw the pictures afterwards. And I'm like,
holy shit.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this is not good. So I just decided, all right, we're just going to get in the gym. We're going to start going. And then I had a buddy who was also kind of, heftier. And he's like, I know you wrestled and you're starting to lose a little bit of weight. Can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, start coming to the gym with me. So it's like, I started helping this guy.
Oh, nice.
And then it was
like a little bit of a buddy.
Yeah.
Camaraderie.
So, yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of enjoy this. This is fun. And I lost like 50 pounds. So I was down to like 250.
Were you still staying up till 4 a.m. and like eating
I was
like shit?
Fixing it.
Gotcha.
It was getting better. That led to, I'm like, I'm just going to apply to be a personal trainer because I realized like, oh, you don't have to have a college education to do that. And
can I give you a spoiler warning? You don't have to have a college education for a lot of jobs. Shocker, guys. I don't know if you know this, but
yeah. Sometimes when I'm on Indeed, like scrolling around, things will be like, oh, we'd prefer you to have a bachelor's degree. And I'm like,
can I tell you the best advice anybody ever gave me? Don't apply to jobs like randomly. You're better off building a network and then proving to people that you could get the job done, because word of mouth is the easiest way to get employed.
Yeah. And that's
especially today with like all these algorithms and all this AI software that's like, if you don't have certain words on your resume, they don't even bring it up. I've seen people send a job listing or apply for a job on Indeed and like 9:01 a.m. Thank you for your application. 9:01 a.m. We regret to inform you that we are going to look for different candidates. It's like, how did you choose with sub 30 seconds that I wasn't? It's all like it's all AI. It's all technology based now. So like my thing to people is like, don't worry about, I mean, this is kind of tough to say because like I'm sure people are gonna be like, what do you mean, Aaron? I got my job randomly. Okay, great. You're the exception, not the rule. Most people I know get their jobs from their friends and family and all these other things. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, because I think that's actually the best vetting system. When you apply for a job that you don't fucking know anybody there, and if you want to take 2 weeks off because you have a fight and nobody else wants to help you, all right, fuck you, I'll leave. But like if let's say a buddy gets you a job, and you're like, hey man, I'm gonna stick my neck out there for you, I'm gonna vouch for you, and please don't fuck this up. Now you're gonna care. Now you're gonna be there for a little bit more. Like I'm not saying you're gonna eat shit forever, but like you're willing to kind of bite the bullet for a little bit because this guy took a chance on you, and now you want to kind of give it back a little bit. I find that randomly applying for positions is just not the way to get employment anymore, and that you're better off asking friends and family. Making a Facebook post saying I want job is better than going looking for a job.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
And it's funny too because where I'm at career wise is because of Erica.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Aha.
So yeah,
See? I told you.
She got me into logistics, and I've just been basically in that for the past.
Did you get weekends off?
I got weekends off.
And you didn't have to work there for 5 years.
Yeah. It was funny too because I was going somewhere with this.
We'll go back to the conversation. Forgive me. I know where we left off. We went down a rabbit hole.
But yeah, personal training. I did that for a while, and COVID kind of hurt that a lot.
Oh yeah.
And
well, that's like the context of time. So this is like sub 2020.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out what I need to do. I thought about going back to school for game design. And one of my best friends, who's also a big gamer, he was like, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, he was just being real with me. He's like, I don't think it's a good idea. And he's like, I know people that have done it. And he's like, if you're someone who loves video games, you shouldn't get into the industry because you will hate them.
Wow.
And I was like,
it's kind of dark.
And I was like, okay, yeah. And then I'm like, I think I'm going to be a cop. So that was like the next thing. So I applied to the academy. I got accepted. I was going to do it. Wife wasn't crazy about it. And then Erica was like, I have a better opportunity for you. I think you could probably do this, work in logistics. And I'm like, oh, I don't have a degree. She's like, it doesn't matter. I'll get your foot in the door.
Shout out Erica.
And she got me a job in logistics, and we worked together for a little while. She left, and then I stayed at this place in the city. No, I honestly hated it. Like, I hated it so much. And I left, and that's when I went to AT&T. But I started fighting while I was there. And that led me to FedEx, and then it led me back to where I'm at now, where I work in Sunset Hills. And Erica was there. And she's like, I'm here now. She's like, it's way better. Trust me. Just trust me. You'll love this so much more. And I'm like, I don't know. I hate logistics. And she's like, trust me. Just try it out. And I've been there for now 4 years.
God bless.
So, but she's gone now. She's doing her own thing. And, I owe a lot to her. And I feel like it's really hard for me to, like, I don't know if I'll be able to repay her for the opportunities that she's put in front of me. But yeah, when you say like knowing people, that's like the prime example is that she's stuck her neck out for me and like helped me get my foot in the door in places. She's also been really blunt with me too. I don't know how well you know her, but like, she's a very strong-headed person. She's very just forward about things, and I would say things to her like, I don't know, and she's like, you need to just like have some fucking confidence in yourself. Like just start like saying what you want, tell people what you need. Like, stop.
Yeah. Stop
just being like, and I owe a lot of that, of my self-growth, of my confidence. A lot of it to fighting, obviously, but like, it started with her.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, nothing gives me more confidence than my financial freedom.
Yeah.
Like, nothing makes me feel more like a man than being able to protect and provide with my money. Like, I love fighting. And like, yes, fighting gives me a confidence. Like, I got confidence from wrestling and all this other stuff. I could give a fuck less about any of that. What makes me feel supremely confident and gives me so much purpose and direction is my job, my livelihood, my businesses, 100%. And I think that that's actually like something for men, like inherently. We used to be the protectors and providers of like the cave, like way back in caveman days, right? And like that mentality has stayed the same, even though our environment has changed. And I'll give you an example. I had a buddy who he quit his job and didn't have another job lined up, and he realized that he was like, oh my God, like I didn't realize like when I meet people, I go, hi, I'm so and so. I do like what you do for work is so synonymous with your personality. It's synonymous with like you, right? I'm this. I'm a cop. Hi, Luke. I'm a cop. You know what I mean? It's like you didn't say like I'm 5'7". I'm you know what I mean? Like you're not saying your height, your weight. You're saying your profession, and I think that for men, I think two things. Number one, I think that men. I want to be careful how I say this. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think that men feel like there's this golden path for like success, right? And that could be get the education and all these other things, whatever that may be. The reality of it is none of us know what the fuck we're doing. And all you really need to do is just acquire skill sets and be nice to people and be someone that you would want to work with. And you would be surprised at the opportunities that will present themselves much more often from your soft skills than your hard skills. Hard skills can be learned on the job. I'll teach you how to do the job. But whether or not you're a cunt, whether or not I want to have a beer with you, whether or not even you want to try, those are all the soft skills that you have to have beforehand. So like men are taught like, pick yourself up from your bootstraps and all this other stuff and pave your way. I don't know what the fuck that means. You know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, good luck being an entrepreneur at 19 with no money and no knowledge. Like, at the end of the day, you have to give a little ground to these young men because, like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And mind you, when we couple that with the fact that so much purpose and direction is derived from your job, then you start seeing why so many men fall into depression. Fall into that cycle of mediocrity and sadness. It's not because they don't have the potential for it. It's because no one's given them, hey, dummy, this way. Yeah. Stop going this way. Well, I don't know. Just keep going that way. It'll get better.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Forgive me for, I'm trying to like skirt around the issue, but like the reason I bring this up is me and my wife talk a lot about the separation of the sexes right now. Because like it's like a lot of women and a lot of men that are angry with one another, like the dating community. We don't know about that, thank God. But like there's like, you know, a lot of animosity between men and women. Women want men that are capable, high earners, all these other things. Men want women that are there and nurturing and want to have families and all this other stuff. And there seems to be a disconnect. And it's 100% not with women. It is 100% with men. You need a strong man. You have to have one. Because women are not attracted to weak men by definition, by logic, by nature. So it's like you want to solve some of these problems, make stronger men. How do you make stronger men? Yes, you can go to the gym. Yes, you can build your confidence in these ways. But more than anything is to give them purpose and direction through financial means. And you can't just tell them, get a degree, you'll get a good job. What the fuck does that even mean? A degree in what? Go be a teacher and make $50,000 a year? What are you talking about? Sorry, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Forgive me. It's just something that I feel a little bit passionate about because I have high schoolers, a lot of boys. And one kid just came up to me like 2 days ago and was like, I want to go into blue collar work. And I was like, great. He's like, I don't really know what I want to do though. I was like, even better. Try a little bit of everything. Try a little bit of electrician work. Try a little bit of HVAC. See if you want to be a truck driver. Like, try all these things. See what you want. Relax. It's not that serious. You have a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
Forgive me. If you're a young man and you needed to hear that, I'm glad. But to you...
No, you're good.
You were basically going on about how Erica helped you get this job that kind of solidified a lot of the foundation that you need for financial security. And I'm sure that financial security then helped with training because now you have a stable job. Now you have the PTO. You can take some time off for the fights. You can do this. You can do that. How, I know this is kind of a weird question because fighting, like work takes away from your ability to train. Yeah. But at the same time, how much does this job then help you in your ability to train consistently?
Basically, I would say it helps me plenty because it keeps a roof over my head. Yeah. I think as long as there's a place for me to go every night and sleep and make sure that my loved ones are taken care of, my wife, my dogs, and that's really all I care about because I want to be able to just keep training, keep getting better, and keep focusing on this life goal of mine. So, I mean, if it's allowing me to do that, that's really all I care about.
Yeah, it's means to an end. I mean, I like to quote, like, we work to live, not live to work. And at the end of the day, it's just a paycheck.
Yeah.
So don't. I blew it up more than it actually is.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I'm sure a lot of the upper management there kind of see me that way. They're like, Luke's here because it's a job. Luke's got his own thing outside of here. Like, I don't think I can't even fathom the idea of like the guys that work there, and it's like that's their life, that's their goal.
Sounds awful.
You know, I'm like, kudos to them.
No.
Kudos that they got what they wanted. If they can come to
Okay.
work every day
and they feel fulfilled
and
from
they feel
work.
fulfilled from that, yeah. But like,
I don't know if it's like that though. I think it's like one of those things where you don't know what you don't know, and the only reason they feel that is because they have the absence of something that they've never experienced.
that's possibly true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like they get that fulfillment from work because they never got it from anywhere else.
Yeah, I also feel like almost like I work in like an office setting, so I feel like there is a Dwight in every office.
Dwight?
Like, do you ever watch The Office?
No.
Okay,
Friends, The Office. No, I watched Scrubs.
I've never watched Scrubs.
Okay then, I don't feel as bad then.
Yeah, basically Dwight is just like obsessed with his job.
Okay.
Like he loves his job; it's his everything. So that I would say that there's at least one guy like that exists in every office.
Your high school hall monitor.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I think a lot of them look at me like that, and
Good.
that's fine.
Good.
I want people to know that I have ambition and drive
Yeah.
with just life in general. Like, an office is not a life, in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
You work to live. You don't live to work.
exactly. So that's all I think about is what I'm doing when I'm off work. It's like all I can think about.
So I was asking you on your way in, we were walking up the stairs, if you're in camp right now, and you said yes. Is that something you can talk about, or
Yeah, I mean, I can. I'm not really worried
is it
about it.
is it like too far out, or like have you announced it yet?
Yeah, I've announced it.
Okay.
They made like a poster for me a few weeks back. I signed the contract, I think like probably 3 weeks ago. Yeah, April 11th down in Cape Girardeau, Cage of Honor. I fought for them quite a few times. This will be third fight professionally. But yeah, we started camp like right at like beginning of January, like January 3rd or something is when I considered camp started.
Yeah. That's a healthy camp. 12 weeks, 13 weeks. January 3rd to April 11th.
Yeah.
February, March. Yeah. But February is shorter, so maybe
Yeah,
we're close there.
that's 12 to like 14 weeks or anything more than that.
That's a full camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Who are you fighting?
As of right now, I say as of right now because I've had a couple times now with these last two fights.
Oh yeah. You're 12 weeks out, brother. It could be three
Yeah.
different opponents.
Yeah. Because my last two fights, those guys were not the initial opponents. So that's just kind of how it came.
Welcome to fighting professionally.
Yeah. Tremere Holly, I think is his name.
Forgive me, I'm not familiar, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he's an animal and deserves your utmost respect.
All I know is he's just another obstacle. Everybody's got a chance. He can beat me, I can beat him. There's all of that in play. I don't really care what anybody thinks about who my opponents are. All I care about is if my coaches accepted the fight, that means they know I think, or they obviously want my opinion too. It's not like they're just going to like accept the fight and be like, all right, you're in. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. But like, if they're cool with it and they like the matchup, that makes me feel a lot better about it because they're not going to put me in a position to fail. Yeah. Either way, I'm excited about it though. But I say, yeah, as of now, because I went through many different opponent types before I got the last two that I had. So, I don't think he's like a pull-out merchant or nothing, so I think he'll be there. So
The reason I say that is fighting is one of those sports where it's contradictory to itself for its own longevity. Like the harder we train, the better we'll get, right? The more prepared we are. But then synonymously, the harder you train, the likelihood for injury then increases as well. And the problem is like just people still train like fucking idiots. Like I can't tell you how many people are like hard sparring 2 weeks out from a fight. I'm like, you guys are wild. Like it's just the problem is ignorance. They don't know what they don't know. And the other problem too is like people are different. So maybe you're just like a savage and you can spar the week of a fight and like that's what you like. to each their own. I'm not here trying to, like I just said earlier, that there's no golden path for everybody, right? So it's like everyone's got their own thing. But it's much. I remember my last fight, we literally went through 4 different opponents, and then before the fight, the fight before that, it was like 3 different opponents, and the fight before that was like 3 different opponents. So like it was just like I was getting a contract every 2-3 weeks to fight on the same date that I agreed to fight at, and it was just like the other guy was changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was just the norm.
Yeah, like they said, they're like, this isn't amateur anymore. Like amateur, I think every opportunity that came across, we kind of just took. Like we didn't like go, you got anybody else? Like there was never that. But it's like, all right, we're a pro. It's like we got to be smart.
Not a lot of people do that at the amateur level, though. I will say that. Like your approach is the minority.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like we talked about earlier. Like, okay, if you want to like go far, you got to fight.
Fights.
You got to fight tough guys.
Better to find out now than later.
Yeah, and that I'm sure that's what's weird, man. Like you look at like pros that might have like shit records, and then you look at their amateur career, and it was like stacked. Like 8-0 or 9-2, and it's like, and then they're 1-4.
Well, you also have to like dig in deep though, because there are some pros now that are like fucking. You know, there was a big one that was like, you know, undefeated for the longest time, but the cumulative record of his opponents was like 20 wins and 100 losses. So it's like at the same time, Tapology's a bitch because you can't hide under your record anymore. So I would also say that there's so many things that go into that record, and I say nothing is better than just film. Film is the best way because then you can actually see his skill set.
Yeah.
Or hers for Lube.
And you know, that's the other thing too, is like we're trying not to, like we don't want to like take fights with like drastically like up and down records like that. But we're also just like, when opportunities come across, if this is who we're being offered, sure, let's do it. We, like I said, we got a offer for the end of February, and I was like game for it. Someplace in Wisconsin, and I looked the guy up, couldn't find any footage on his pro record. He was like, you know, he's 1-0 as a pro, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm 2-0. That I think that's appropriate. And I looked at his amateur career, and he was like 8-0, and I was like, okay. You know, and the record didn't like hit, like his opponent's records weren't like terrible, but then like, you know, I was looking up footage, and I'm like, you know, I feel really good about this guy. Like I know we haven't seen his pro fight yet, but we basically accepted it and then have not heard shit
from them. Well, the other problem is too, like whenever you travel, I don't know if your coaches have told you this, whenever you travel, because now you're a pro, now you're into the business of fighting, and let me spit some game to you. You want, the number one thing you want to do is get it in good with one of the promotions around town, because then they can bring people in to fight you. Because every time you have to travel, you're being brought in to fight the local guy, the ticket seller, the this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And they're not bringing you in to win.
No, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Fully aware. Yeah, I had this conversation with Brad and Marlene. Like we talked for like, I swear, 2 hours. We were in a parking lot. I went to go meet them to get tickets for my last fight, and then we just kind of had a conversation about the game and everything. And yeah, and that's what I like about them is I feel like, you know, they're not going to try to like feed me people. That's not what we want, you know. But I think they have like my best interest, if that makes sense. And this place with Cage of Honor, I think this guy is not from Missouri as far as I know. So it's like,
you're the hometown kid because you're only an hour away.
Yeah, basically. But it's like all I fought was local guys as an amateur. You know, I didn't fight anybody that was outside the state, and I'd like to kind of just keep that rhythm.
That's an interesting perspective because Illinois is 10 minutes away, but Kansas is 3.5 hours away. I would consider like fighting a guy from Kansas City, like for FAC or something like that. That's a much more travel than it is to fight in Illinois, which is technically another state. So like, I don't know. My whole thing has always been like, to your point, what you said earlier about getting to PFL or the UFC, who the fuck cares? Take the fights you need, build the record you need, and then be ready for the opportunities when they present themselves. Yeah. I'll tell you this, by the conversations that I've had with UFC fighters and all that stuff, like the golden path there now is get good management, get 5-0. If you get good management and 5-0, be ready. Because there will be someone who can't make weight or gets injured or whatever, and then they're going to Dana and all them reach out to the management and say, "You guys got some guy that's ready at 155 or 170 or whatever," and that is the way to get into the UFC now, outside of the Contender Series.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that, and fortunately, I mean, as far as I know, we have some connections with some people. Like we got guys in California and Florida that could potentially help us out with that type of situation if it comes to it.
Meaning, if there's a late replacement need.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. There was a late replacement fight in the UFC a couple months ago. I feel so bad because I can't remember his name, but he fought Malcolm Wallmaker. Small little guy came in on like 48 hours notice and fought Malcolm, who was like 10-0, 11-0, whatever, and he like almost dog walked Malcolm.
Wow.
But he's from the gym in California that my coach Kevin Hahn has connections with. So I'm like, okay, so
Have you ever thought about cross training and traveling for training?
yeah, he's told me a couple times. He's like, we're gonna get you out there. So I'm like, okay, cool, that'd be awesome. He's like, whenever I think we're gonna be in a camp, when we get to a camp where he feels like we really need to push to get that extra work, those extra bodies, we'll kind of have that conversation, set up that type of travel, and then we'll get that going. But it's something I look forward to, is getting out there. And I've never been to California.
Would you ever do the cross training outside of a camp though, just like for leisure to like see what other gyms are like on the coast?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I really don't mind the idea of cross training. It's just really sometimes we're just kind of in that mindset of like we're in camp, and it's like you want to stick with your guys. You know, you don't know what's going to happen if you go somewhere else. And not saying it.
100%.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I know what you mean, and I agree with you.
Yeah. So it's not like we think anything less of other gyms or anything like that. It's just I feel like I'm always in camp, it seems. So it's just like they're always just trying to keep me safe. And I appreciate them for that too. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I don't have any problems with, you know, dipping my toes somewhere else. But like that place is like my family. They care about me. Yeah. They care about me like a shit ton. I think back to my wrestling team in high school. I did not get along with most of those guys, and they actively like hoped for my downfall. They always wanted to see me lose.
Jesus.
And you know, that mindset is not there at Han. Like it's everybody's a family. Everyone cares about each other, you know, and I don't know. I'm a guy that like wears his heart on his sleeve too. So like I don't really mind if I'm like emotional in front of people to an extent. But yeah, like the last fight when I fought Jason, I got really emotional in the octagon afterwards. Not so much because I beat him. Like it wasn't really him. It was just like, you know, 14, 15 weeks of
For
just
this
like
moment.
this moment. And, you know, he is a black belt. He's got his own gym, you know, and I went in there and I did what I did, you know, and, you know, they put the purple belt on me afterwards. And it was just like,
Fuck yeah.
yeah, it's just like I'm being noticed for all the shit I'm doing, all the hard work I'm doing, you know, and it's like, yeah, it looks cringe. To me, it's cringe when I watch it, and I'm like, why was I fucking crying, you know? But it's like, I
don't think it's cringe.
for me to watch it, like
Yeah.
I don't really want to watch it back, but I think people, as fighters, I think fighters know, especially like just what goes into it.
Yeah, dude.
And also during that camp, my first wrestling coach passed away during that camp. And, you know, that kind of sat with me for a little bit because...
Were you close to him?
Not after high school, but this kind of leads back a ways, but I owe a lot of where I am because of him. And, you know, after middle school and I was wrestling in high school, I was really struggling in the beginning of my season, like my freshman year. I probably won like 2 out of like my first 15 matches as a freshman. And I like went to him one day and I'm like, hey, you know, I think I'm not as good as I thought I was. I think I'm probably done or something. You know, I was just like kind of
You're ready to quit.
And he's like, he like forced me to stay. He's like, I promise you it's going to get better. It's like, you just got to, he kept me in it. And he kept that mentality with me. And he was a really good anchor for me to have through high school. Even with all that shit show I had with the team. Like, that was one of the biggest takeaways I took out of high school. Like, it was funny, the other day my mom asked me, like, if you could do high school again, would you? And I was like, no. She's like, you wouldn't even so you could wrestle again? And I'm like, no. But
I'm with you.
yeah, I'm like,
Glad I did it. Not going back.
she's like, but weren't you like a popular kid? I'm like, no, I was not a popular kid.
I think there's like a psychosis to people that like they've peaked in high school and want to go back to that. I think that should be studied because I'm like, bro, that is dark.
Yeah.
If your best days are behind you like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say that I say this to my wrestlers. I say, I'm not outcome determinative. Like, I don't care if you win or lose, truly. I really don't. What I care about is effort. Are you learning how to put your heart and soul into something? Mm-hmm. Wrestling is a sport, but what it really is a vehicle for better people. Mm-hmm. You can have multiple ways to make better people. Work as a waiter for a year. You're going to be a better person. Do the military because now you're going to something bigger than yourself. It'll make you a better person. Wrestle.
Yeah.
It'll make you a better person. Or I would even extend to that like martial arts in general. Like anywhere where like another human being is forcing you into submission, either striking, grappling, or just pinning you, right? It'll force you to understand what it's like to be a nail. And then one day when you inevitably hold that hammer yourself, you'll be a little bit more judicial with how you bring that hammer down. And I think that there's a correlation between people that are ready for power and the people that have felt powerless.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny that you kind of say that because it's weirdly a funny story. My first real jiu-jitsu session at Han back in like 2019, they kind of let me like join the fight team, but I still hadn't done like a pure jiu-jitsu session yet. And I'm in the group chat and they're like, hey, Sunday's open mat, be here, all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just like
that.
Yeah. So I show up, nobody else came. The only guy that was there, I know. I'm like, I thought there was a fight team.
There was an initiative of be there.
Yeah. So I show up and Coach Dave is there, and there's this other guy, Travis, who he's got his own gym now. I don't know where. I'd love to plug that in, but I don't know. But I come in, they're like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh shit,
I'm new here."
Yeah, I'm like, "I'm Luke." And they're like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, well, he must know it's open mat, so he's got to be in the group chat. So just going off like wrestling instincts. So it's just like guillotine after guillotine after guillotine and triangle after triangle. It's just like,
you mean you're getting submitted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Left and right. And at the time, Travis, I think, was like a purple belt and Dave was brown. And it was just like easily just doing whatever they wanted. And I'm just like crap, and it's like, thinking I could do these things, I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive because that's like what wrestling is. It's like head on, smash, and jits is more like lackadaisical and things like that. I wouldn't say lackadaisical, but like I guess when you just kind of compare like the tempo of both.
I think one is all about pressure, while the other one is more about leverage. If I were to distinguish the difference. But like, here's the thing. I mean, athleticism is the differentiator of technique in both sports. Mm-hmm. So like in wrestling, you guys can have a great scramble, and maybe if someone's just stronger and faster, he's gonna get the better end. Same thing in jiu-jitsu. You can have two guys that are black belts. The better athlete's gonna win. It's kind of hard to say that like in a generic sense, but I'm saying that the skill levels are adequate or well matched.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that like you're getting guillotined and triangled because you're a wrestler. You're getting guillotined and triangled because you don't know what the fuck these things are. It's the first time you're seeing any of this stuff.
Yeah. And just, I think a lot of wrestlers lead with their heads.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like I'm diving into that shit.
And they're like, come on in.
And thinking I'll just be strong enough to break out of it. Because I was bigger than, like...
I wish it worked that way.
Yeah. And it was just like, I'm just like sitting there like gasping. We're all just kind of like sitting at the mat and everything. And that's when Dave told me, if we were in prison, he's like, I could rape you with ease, and there's nothing you could do about it. And I'm just like, that has stayed with me
That's a Justin Gaethje quote. If one man can hold you down, two can fuck you.
Yeah, we did a drill a couple weeks ago where we were doing a 2-on-1 drill, and I had two guys on me, and I'm trying to get one of them on, like one of them's just like holding me, and the other one's like trying to put an arm bar. I'm just like not having it, and I'm like doing everything I can, and then my teammate Kyle was like, 2 men. He's like, if two can hold you down, and as soon as he said that, I like shot up.
You're like, no.
And one dude launched off of me. But like him saying that, he was joking, obviously, and he's also a big fan of Gaethje's. That's probably where that came from.
Also not though. He's also not joking.
He's
joking.
He could do it if he
but
wants.
He's not wrong.
But yeah, and it's just like that kind of hit me. I'm like, dude, that's true. To an extent.
I shouldn't say this out loud, but there are people that I have trained with or like coached and stuff like that where I've told them, I was like, your grappling is so bad that if I wanted to put my dick in your mouth, the only thing stopping me is that I don't feel like it. You can't stop me. And they'll look at me and they're like, I'm like, yeah. So maybe you should get better at wrestling. Maybe you should get better at jiu-jitsu. Maybe you should get better at fighting.
Yeah.
So that the number of people that can do that to you is only ever depreciating.
Yes. And so it's like
I don't care what your fuel is for getting better at fighting. Maybe it's to protect your butthole. Whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, that's one thing that we joke about constantly to this day. I mean, it's been almost 6 years of training there, and I still bring that up to him. I'm like, dude, maybe I'm past the 1-man stage. Maybe it'll take like maybe 3 or 4 now. But I think I'm okay with that. But someone's gonna die in the process. I know that's for sure. But yeah, that's a mentality that we always kind of joke about there. But as morbid and as weird as that is.
No, I'm pretty sure every gym has said that at least once.
But it's like wrestling and grappling, and it's funny too because I posted a picture of like post open mat, maybe last Friday. Me and my teammate Isaac were still rolling, and then the other guys posed for the photo. So in the photo, you see me and Isaac, like I have Isaac's back, and I'm like working with him, and they're just like posing for the photo. And my wife was looking at it that night, and she's like, "It's just like you guys are like really just kind of intimate." I'm like, "How are we intimate? Like I don't understand this." And she's like, "He's literally holding onto your feet." She's like, "I don't even do that." I'm like, "Do you want to touch my feet? Will it make you feel better?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, she's like, "You're like on his back. You're like right up against his head." I'm like, "Yeah, because like Dave teaches us, like you need to be able to whisper in someone's ear if you're on the back and you want to get that choke." And it's like, that's what I was working for. And he's trying to move my feet. And it's like, we're doing the right things. But I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. It can be a little gay. I understand. But it's like, but that's the nature of the sport. Like I can't defend it in that aspect.
Whenever kids come up to me in high school and they're like, I don't want to wear the singlet, it's kind of gay, I always respond with, you want to know what's gay? Having another man hold you down against your will. That sounds gay.
Yeah.
So sign me up. I'll learn how to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
It goes with the sport. Unfortunately, I mean, unarmed combat is intimate.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it. I mean, and was it like way back in the day in the Olympics, when that first began, like they wrestled naked.
Well, that you want to know what that was from? To prove that you didn't have you didn't have a weapon, like a dagger. That's why they wrestled naked. They didn't wrestle naked because they were a bunch of homos. They wrestled naked.
Well, I didn't think it was because they were.
Like, you're not gonna stab me, are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was just like I don't think they had anything that they could.
Or maybe that's like, because here's the problem with history. Because like I'm watching like the last 5 years of like those events being changed like historically in real time. I start to think to myself like, how much of the history that I was taught is legit? Like, was it? Maybe they are just all gay, and it wasn't about a dagger.
Yeah, it's
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, my wife's a teacher, and she like talks about how much wrong history we were taught growing up.
Us, our generation.
Yes, and it was funny because like the other day I was watching that movie, One Battle After Another, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character is in a scene with his daughter's teacher, kind of having like that parent-teacher conference thing, and she's doing really good in history, and he's like the right kind of history, like you teaching the real history. And it's just like
gets dark.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like you learn about it as you get older, like as an adult, and it's like I don't know how much of it's fabricated, but that's a can of worms. Yeah, that's a whole can of worms that I'm not prepared for. But yeah,
One of the craziest quotes I ever hear, or like I try to combat with, is like, history is written by the victor, and it's difficult to like argue against that because it's like, well, if the loser was here, like,
That's true. Yeah.
who would say otherwise? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Very
Before-
interesting aspect.
Before we put a cap on this conversation, first I wanted to say thank you for coming in, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you being open to. We've been at it for an hour and 45 minutes, flew by. Before we put a cap to this, is there anything that you want to say, or is there anything you want to discuss that maybe we didn't brush up on?
Not necessarily.
What's your favorite game? Video game
Favorite video game of all time?
of all time?
Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Okay, interesting. PS1
Fallout
day?
3. Fallout 3 right behind it.
Okay,
Yeah, PS1 days. Yeah.
mine would be Final Fantasy X on the PS2.
I've never actually played a single Final Fantasy game.
Oh, play Final Fantasy X.
Just that one.
Well, that's the best one to get started with because I think that one has the most concrete, like, definitive start-end story, and it aged well compared to other Final Fantasies. Because like the other Final Fantasies in PS1 days, if you play them now, they're kind of difficult. But the PS2 ones aged well. Like you can get immersed in it in the story, and maybe it's a little bit of a bias, but in terms of raw storytelling, and take it from me, like I'm the guy who's like an unga bunga. Like when I play WoW, I play like, let's push the highest key, Mythic Plus. Like I'm the performance guy, right? Like let's get the numbers big. I don't give a fuck about story in any video game that I play. You know what I mean? My buddy tries to get me into like the Fallout games or Outer Worlds and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't care. Like I don't care. Give me something to shoot. You know what I mean? But Final Fantasy X was, to this day, one of the best games I've ever played in terms of like this raw storytelling. It also touches on like racism. It touches on religion. It touches on like arranged marriages. It touches on life and death. It touches on it's such a great fucking game. And the combat system is amazing. Like the mechanics of the game are amazing as well.
Yes.
Linear story, it's easy to get into, difficult to master, and it's just such a great game.
Yeah, it's turn-based style.
Turn-based style.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it would be like good, but it's fucking phenomenal.
I like turn-based stuff. Like I like XCOM and.
Did you play Expedition 33?
No,
That's a
but
great-
it won Game
That's
of the Year.
a
didn't it?
fucking dude. Do you have a PC or a console?
Console.
Fucking.
I'm actually on what I call a PS2 onslaught right now.
Okay.
So I've been.
My producer right now, like his dick could not get softer. Like he's so out of this part of the conversation. Luckily for you, you're getting paid hourly.
Yeah, me. I've been just like trying to build up my resume of games, like physical. I think physical media is still pretty important. Like I don't emulate anything. So
Why?
I just love having that game in my hand.
Okay.
I think there's something special about it that like it's mine. It's definitely mine. It's not going anywhere.
There's truth to that,
Yeah.
especially in today's day and age.
And like going to the Blockbuster was like one of my favorite things. I loved going and picking things off a shelf, and that's kind of what I want to replicate. To just be like, I can go over to my shelf. I have this wide selection. I pick something and I'm going to play it. So I'm basically just playing purely. Well, I just jumped back into Resident Evil 4, but
That was a gem. That was a gem. Not the remake. The old.
I'm
OG
playing the
one.
remake right now. I was trying to get my hands on the original again, but I have the remake on hand ready to go. So I'm like,
Resident Evil 4 was my first Resident Evil.
it was mine as well. It's not my favorite one, but it was my
What else
first.
on the? I'll give you a throwback. You ever play the N64?
Yes, to an extent. I never owned one. I own
Okay.
one now. because-
I will say that Banjo-Kazooie was one of the best games I've ever played in my life. As a
That's
platformer, one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time should be like immortalized in like a library of human achievement. Seriously,
It's
so ahead of its time.
I have a 64 Banjo and Kazooie, and some of the older Zeldas are games that I want to add to the collection. Things like Killer Instinct, Mario Kart, just amazing ones.
OG Mario Kart, OG. Oh my God, Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Me and my 7-year-old friends literally got into fist fights over that.
Yeah.
I want Link. I want Captain Falcon. No, fuck you. Wait, we can all pick the same character? Oh.
Yeah, I wish I grew up playing Smash Bros, but I played a lot of Mortal Kombat, a lot of Tekken.
That's a gem too.
Big fan of Mortal Kombat. I've got tattoos, Mortal Kombat tattoos.
Well, your fighter nickname is Sub-Zero, so
that came actually. I got that nickname because I have the Mortal Kombat dragon on my calf, and in the earlier days of training and everything, I just kind of used my wrestling when we grapple. I couldn't sub anybody in my gym. I just couldn't. I could hold people down and control them and stuff. And Dave was like, "You're Sub-Zero."
So it was an insult.
Yeah. So we had a fight down in Cape, and I won by rear naked choke. And Dave like grabbed the announcer or whatever. He's like, "Hey, we call him Sub-Zero. Ask him why." So like on the microphone, he's like, "They say they call you Sub-Zero. What's that all about?" And I was just like, whatever. And then my next fight I won, I was so excited when I won. I was just like, I'm just gonna do the ice ball thing and like throw the ice ball. And I've ran into people that are like, I've had commentators say like, "Oh, there he is throwing his Kamehameha." I'm like, "It's not Dragon Ball Z."
Hadouken.
Yeah, people say Hadouken. I'm like, "It's not Street Fighter. It's Mortal
Get it
Kombat."
fucking right, guys.
I'm like, "I'm throwing a fucking ice ball. The name is Sub-Zero. Like, what do you?" I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know why people get that mixed up. I know Hadouken and Kamehameha is popular things, but yeah, I'm just glad that I was able to kind of find a way to, and I didn't give myself that nickname, so they gave it to me.
Well, the best nicknames are the ones that you don't pick up. Dude, you could tell the fighters that have like, "What's your nickname?" "The Destroyer." All right, dude. Yeah, you're going to fucking destroy it out there. Like, your nickname has to be given to you. It cannot be something you picked. And the best ones are the stories like this, like where it's like, it was actually an insult.
Yeah, and it's not a name that rolls off the tongue, unfortunately. It's like
I think it's pretty
Sub-Zero,
badass.
Winston. Yeah, I love it. I personally love it. I grew to love it.
Dakota Bush still has the best one.
Harry Bush.
Harry Bush. Dakota. No, Andrew Sanchez, way back in the day before he changed it, he was El Dirte.
El Dirte.
So Andrew Dirty Sanchez.
Our teammate Zach Binkins, he was telling me, he's like, "I really need a nickname," and I'm like, "We'll find it. We'll find it along the way. Don't worry." But then I was like, "How about Jar Jar?" Because his last name is Binkins.
Oh, it was
and
like,
but then he goes, "What the hell
Lisa
is
don't
that?"
like that.
No, but he's like, "What the hell is Jar Jar?" And I'm like, "Star Wars."
Oh, we never watched that?
He's like, I don't know, dude.
Well, Phantom Menace wasn't the best piece
but
of work.
that
It
movie-
got better as time went on.
But yeah, I was like, dude, Zach Jar Jar Binkins. Nobody wants to get their ass kicked by Jar Jar Binkins. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm
No
like,
one wants to get their ass kicked anyway.
well, no, but like, you don't want to get beat by Jar Jar.
Ryan Bader, when he was in Strike Force, his nickname was Master.
That's I know,
Ryan
it's
Master
perfect.
Bader. And then when he got to the UFC, he changed it to Darth. Darth Bader. I was like, bro, fucking own it. That was awesome.
At least he has room for variety.
Yes, yeah. Well,
Me, I think I'm stuck, and that's fine. I'll stick with Sub-Zero forever, basically. I don't think there's anybody else with that.
I think it's
nickname.
cold. No pun intended.
Yeah, too cold to hold. Except the
Except for the one time that I did.
Yeah, the one time that I got held down for 3 rounds. Yep.
What's the thing is like, I'll beat your ass until I don't.
Yeah, basically. Like, well, you better not let me up.
Because if
But
you do,
I
hope you don't bring me back down. Dude, I appreciate you being on. This was actually a big joy. This is actually the first time we actually got to sit down and talk. I know that we had a phone call way back when previously, but this has been enjoyable for me. I got to learn a lot about you, and now next time I see, one of the nice things about the podcast is I talk to so many fighters that I don't normally talk to, and then it actually gets me like invested in your guys' career because I'm like, oh, like I know more about him. Like I hope he wins. You know what I mean? So it kind of reignites my passion for fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I loved being on, and is I guess I don't want to say the word is like egotistical, but like I like talking. I love to talk. So you give me the opportunity, I will talk. So, but yeah, I really appreciate having me down here and everything and making time. So it was really cool, and just the whole get up, I think it was pretty fucking cool too. So
Thanks, brother.
yeah.
Well, Luke, I appreciate you, man, and good luck in your next fight. All right?
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.